I don't have any J-Lo related stories.
What miracles of science and engineering it took to recover this gold.
I've been in a bubble from media.
Yeah.
Complete bubble. So when you sent me that interview, it's like, it's great. Good. Back into the world.
Oh, that's exactly where you want to be. All right, welcome to All Gold Everything, a podcast for fucking professionals.
Professionals. I don't think professionals say fucking.
Well, I was going to say...
But we do.
Because we're legit. We got a new microphone set up, and we are fucking professionals. It could also be for people who are fucking professionals. Like if you have... I mean, we talked about that last week on our dating dudes.
Yeah. So, you can't see my head.
I know. Actually, before the show, we didn't test out...
The microphone is bigger than my head.
And we didn't test out this move at all before the show.
I don't want to mess up the pristine microphone with all the makeup I have on my face.
It's really good. I'm one of your co-hosts this evening. I'm Heidi B.
I'm Sandy.
All right. And before we get started, I just want to make a quick shout out to all of our listeners to say thank you so much for listening to us. We had a huge week this week, tons of listens, which was really great. What I want to do is I just want to put one little push out there for our listeners to follow us on YouTube. If you listen to us regularly, I would love it if you go to our YouTube channel, All Gold Everything Podcast. There's a lot of ways you can get to it. You can find it from our website. You can find it in YouTube in the search engine. And we need you to follow us on YouTube. We currently have 17 YouTube followers, and like having the magic number is 100.
Oh.
We need 100.
That's all?
Yeah.
Oh, we got this.
We got this.
I believe in you.
We need 100. So I need all of our listeners and like 2 of their friends to go to YouTube and follow us on YouTube. So that would really help us out. And the other thing that I want to just make one other announcement about is that we really want to help you fix your damn life.
I agree.
So much.
Agreed.
So much. So in order for us to fix your life, we're going to need you to send us some questions that we can like weigh in on. They can be questions of career, questions of personal relationship, questions of sex, questions of finance. We'll give a shot.
Send us some sex questions.
Yes. Definitely send us those.
Nothing is off limits.
Nothing's off limits. We want to weigh in on everything.
Even though we're 2 married, heterosexual, monogamous white women, like I will talk about swinging. I will talk about anal.
We have a lot of opinions.
We do.
But no judgment.
Not really.
No.
I mean, I'm not going to like say no judgment.
Some
but
judgment.
I do think we're very open-minded.
We are. We're open-minded. We have a lot of opinions. So if you want to send us, we want you to send us your questions. You can send them anonymously. All you have to do is send them to goldengirls@allgoldpod.com. We will get to them. Our turnaround time is super quick, especially if you email them to us on a Wednesday. We will answer them Wednesday night and have the episode posted very early on Thursday morning. So we're like turning it around super quick.
We will do it for you.
We'll do it for you.
We'll do it for you. Unless we get 2 questions, then you're fucked.
Then you might have to wait. Or maybe we'll answer both. Maybe we'll just turn it into a question episode. Who knows? Who knows what could happen?
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
As I
anything
caress my new giant microphone.
It looks good. It looks good. We also have an exciting week coming up next week. So Tuesday, April 10th, we're doing 2 big events, which we're super excited about.
It's going to be a busy week.
And then, of course, we're podcasting Wednesday.
I'm going to need the week off work.
Yeah.
If you don't mind. Okay.
So the first thing we're doing on Tuesday afternoon is we are going back to one of our favorite shows in Portland, Afternoon Live on KATU. We'll be talking to Trey Renee, and we'll be giving her our list of dating do's for spring. So you don't want to miss it.
Nope.
No. We talked about it a couple episodes ago, but that way you don't have to go back to the old episode. Just come watch us on TV.
Hit the high points. We're going to hit the high points.
Yes, always with the high points. And the second thing we're doing is also Tuesday evening. We'll be attending a fashion show with our friend Sarah D'Onofrio of One Imaginary Girl for part of Design Week Portland.
That's going to be so cool.
That is going to be at the Huxton Hotel downtown.
I have no idea what I'm going to wear. Like, what does one wear to Portland Design Week?
I don't know. I mean, I just want to wear my shrimp shirt that I wore last week. It's Sarah's. It's cute. But it's a tank top. It's like not fancy.
Slam dunk. I don't think it's Portland.
It's Portland. That's
Portland.
Right. As long as I'm wearing, what did she say? Closed-toed shoes?
Yes.
As long as I'm wearing closed-toed shoes.
You better wear those pumps.
Wear the pumps. I wanted to put a little plug in for Design Week Portland. Design Week Portland has a website, designportland.org. And Design Week Portland encompasses like all kinds of design work, art, fashion, architecture, I don't know. The website has all the
Anything one might design.
anything one might create.
Anything one might deign to
Yeah.
design might be found at Portland Design Week.
That's right. So that is going on, and it is happening April 6th.
I bet there'll be some weird shit there.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I don't know where the weirdest shit will be, and I actually don't have the website up on my phone right now to know like all the, like all the different
Weird
categories
shit.
of potential weird shit. But I feel like there will probably be some real weird art.
There'll be some weird shit.
Yeah, there will be some.
We'll
weird
bring
shit.
you the weirdest shit from Wednesday.
Oh my god!
Or is
Yes,
it a Wednesday or is
it's
it
Tuesday.
Thursday?
It's Tuesday.
I think it's Thursday.
No, I'm pretty sure it's stacked up that we're doing KATU in the morning from 2 to 3, and then in the afternoon we're doing Design Week.
I believe you are correct.
So that's on Tuesday, and I agree. Let's.
No, it's Wednesday.
Oh, and then so we're doing Design Week, and then we're coming to podcast. We'll have to figure it out. It's happening next week anyway. We'll be talking all about it.
Yes.
Yes.
It is Wednesday.
Okay.
We're on April 10th. We're on Afternoon Live
Yeah.
on Wednesday. And
Oh, it's all on Wednesday.
Design Week Portland is also on Wednesday.
Okay, sorry. So they're on the same day, but I had the wrong day. My bad.
Okay.
Okay,
like
good.
you said, we're not here to be all about facts.
That's right.
I cannot believe that
I'm glad it's in your phone. I would have showed up for everything on Tuesday.
I can't believe that like I knew the date was wrong.
That's awesome.
I literally climbed out from under my rock
Amazing.
at about 6 p.m. tonight.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry, I'm just a little self-impressed right now. Just let me bask in the glory
Bask in it. It's
of
good.
knowing what's going on.
It is good. So that stuff's going on. Design Week Portland stuff's going on all week from the 6th through the 13th of April. But we are participating on the 10th, which is Wednesday.
That is correct.
Correct. Okay. Yes. And so those are the big things that I wanted to get out of the way, kind of taking care of business announcement wise. How has your week been? You've been back at work this
Well,
week.
It's been really good, but it's been all at work. Mm-hmm. You guys might just hear some work stories popping in tonight. Sorry for you. It's been my life.
I went to Seattle last week and caught the home opener game between the Mariners and the Red Sox, which was pretty fun.
It's probably a big deal for a baseball fan, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like still kind of a tangential baseball fan. Jeff's the major baseball fan. I enjoy it. Like I definitely like being in person at baseball more than I like watching it on TV. You know, so I love it. I like the smell and the food and the like the sounds and like all that stuff. So one of the things that happened though was the very first day, opening day. I went to go get some concessions. I went to go get some garlic fries because they're delicious. And I was like lining up, like eyeing this concession stand, and it was set up at an angle. And so I like looked at it and like all the lines are super long. And I'm like, oh, it's at an angle and the lines are long. So actually the shortest line is the one that's at the closest to the angle.
You're doing geometry.
Oh yeah, I was you're right.
Yes.
After fucking up SOHCAHTOA on my SAT entrance exam, I was literally doing geometry to figure out what snack line to get in, right? So I like chose what I thought was the shortest snack line, got in it, waited there for a fucking half an hour. Because it turns out
the slowest person there.
No, it's only one. The shorter lines are serviced by only one cashier, and the longer lines have 2 cash registers at them. Oh
So
my god,
they're smarter than the
they're
average.
smarter.
fare.
They made me wait. So I'm waiting there.
What was that?
I don't know. What did Mark just cut to? I have no idea. What is that? Oh, there we are. Are we on the moon? Is this a lunar? Are we in Antarctica? Oh, it's Star Wars.
I think we're in Star Wars.
We're in Star Wars. That's the only noise I can think of.
So I figured this out because we're gonna hashtag Star Wars.
Ah, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
And then people will be like, this show's not about Star Wars. Oh, but they can look at the Star
I wish
Wars
I
ship.
would have known in advance. I would have done the these.
Your Leia buns.
Look at
There
me.
you go.
Look at me, Star Wars fans.
You're basically her right now.
Masturbate to that.
There it is. Put it in the spank bank. So anyway,
Sorry.
that's okay. I waited in line with. I have
I'm
to
just trying to get us listeners.
I know you're doing
I'm
a
trying
great job.
to get subscribers.
You are doing it. Thank you, Sandy.
You're welcome.
Anyway, I waited in line for like half hour, and I have to give a shout out to this girl, Catherine, who waited in line behind me. So Catherine in Seattle, if you're listening.
Oh, okay.
Of course, I told her that we have the show, and she was like, "Oh my god," she was excited. I'm like, "If you listen, I'll definitely give you a shout out next week." So Catherine in Seattle, I wanted to say hi. The reason Catherine and I waited in line together for probably 20 minutes.
I feel
and
bad
then,
for talking about masturbating now.
That's
Sorry,
all right. Don't
Catherine.
worry about
That's
it.
not the kind of show that this is. I mean, it can be.
It can be. If you send us a listener question about
Right.
masturbation, we'd be happy to
I would
answer
love
it.
to talk about masturbation.
Love to. So anyway, the thing that caught my attention is that Catherine had been standing in line behind me. We've been standing there forever, and then all of a sudden her friend bopped up, and she turned to her friend and she's like, you know what? And her friend's like, what? And she's like, there needs to be a Dawson's Creek remake, and I need to be the star of it. And I just was like, yeah, girl, let's talk
You're
that.
like, you're just a person after my own heart.
Here's the name of the show, All Gold Everything. Start listening. I'll shout you out next week. So anyway,
Yes.
hi to Catherine in Seattle. I hope you're listening. Hope it made you laugh.
Does she have anything other than that about her Dawson's Creek, like, epiphany?
Well,
like, is there a reason, or is she high? Or is she just high?
I don't know if she was high or not. There was not much more reasoning behind, like, just that everything's getting, not but like everything's getting remade. Like there's a new 90210 being remade, and like everything is derivative, and so everything's coming back around. And she just was like convinced that there should be a new Dawson's Creek and she should be in it. And I was just like, hell yeah. And then her friend and her were like, they were actually discussing whether or not they were going to get a hot dog. Then it kind of devolved
They were
into
high.
something. Yeah.
I got you, Catherine.
Something a little
I see you.
more mundane. So
I see you, Catherine.
So anyway, it was pretty funny. I was like, yeah, I could get on board with the Dawson's Creek remake. I was never a big... Did you ever watch Dawson's Creek? I didn't either. I just felt like it tried a little too hard.
I never I don't even watch it to know. I think I remember James Vanderbeek. He got very famous from it.
Yeah, he did.
That's all I got for that. And I got it confused with Felicity.
Yes, they were running at the same time.
I didn't know which was which.
Yeah,
but
and they were both on the same channel.
But they were very popular, so they're both memories. I know about them.
Yeah, in your like pop culture lexicon.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like a Dawson's Creek update could be good. Could be interesting. Would consider it. Send receipts.
I don't know. I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't watch a Felicity remake either.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Two things I'm thinking about watching this week that are on. One's on Hulu called The Act. Have you heard any buzz on this?
I have not.
Okay, I didn't send it.
Under rock.
I know. I'm going to tell you about it. It's about this girl. It's based on a true story, and it's about this girl who is a victim of Munchausen by proxy.
I do know that story, though.
Yeah.
I do know that story. And I
Yes.
actually tried to watch the documentary, and I couldn't.
Right.
Okay. I just have to say, Munchausen by proxy is real.
It's
I work
real.
in a children's hospital.
That's right.
So this is hard
Gnarly.
for me to watch.
Yeah.
Too close. Too close.
I didn't even think about it until I was talking to you right now and put two and two together. So anyway, I was considering watching it. I'm just going to tell our listeners the rest of the plot quick, and then we can move on to the next thing.
No, take your time. Do your thing, girl. I'm just going to...
Yeah, so work on the DC. We won't weigh in on it for long because neither of us have seen it either. Is the other thing. So there is a documentary.
But I could talk about Munchausen by proxy, but I can't on the podcast, obviously. But yes.
So there is a documentary about this, but this is a scripted series based on the documentary. But there's this young woman who is a victim of Munchausen by proxy, and she meets a guy on the internet, and basically she hires him to kill the person who is Munchausen by proxy, who ends up being her mother or something, or who that from the beginning. That's not a spoiler. So anyway, it's very dark, very creepy from what I hear, and obviously very dark subject matter. And I was considering watching it, but then the other thing that I want to...
It's based on a true story.
And it's based... Yes, sorry. It's based on a true story. And then the girl is actually now serving time, or I don't know how much time, but she's serving time in prison. So the other thing I want to watch, which is like on the opposite extreme of this, is there's a Motley Crue documentary out.
I did briefly see something about that. Yes.
And I feel like I've seen a lot of social media about like Nikki Sixx and what's his name? Tommy Lee. Why can't I think of it? Thank you.
Yes. No, you know what I thought when I saw that? I'm like, my husband's going to want to watch that. That's what I thought.
And does he?
I'm getting the thumbs up.
Thumbs up. I think I'm going to try to watch it this week. I want to see what it's like.
I think it'll probably be entertaining if nothing
else, right? Yeah, I think so. And in the realm of documentary reality show, I saw this when I was like combing through news today, and I cannot believe I missed it. Kim and Kanye are having a fourth baby via surrogate.
I did know that.
You were aware of this?
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's news. I don't think it's new. I feel like it's at least a month old.
Well, I like that you said you don't think it's news, because it is like these people's reproduction probably shouldn't be news. And also it isn't new because you're right, they're having it in like a week, or it's like imminently due or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, how did I miss this? I don't understand. And then I realized how I missed it. Fucking Chloe.
Oh yeah, she's trying to steal her sister's thunder.
Trying to steal her sister's thunder. The Kris Jenner machine is in overdrive, and she accidentally took a little bit of her PR, and it got away from her, and like whatever. But I missed the entire story.
I think Kim did get some PR about this when it went down. It's just when they use surrogates, it's under the radar.
That's
it's
true.
It's not visible. We're not getting all the baby bump photos that for
That's
whatever
true.
reason we love. I don't love the baby bump photos. but people do. So it's really weird. It's really different because like
There's probably a lot of paperwork involved too. Like there's a lot of secrecy.
Well, yeah, it's just, I mean, it's kind of like a non-thing. It's like, so the news comes out, a baby's coming, but you don't ever see a pregnancy or anything like that. And it's just then the baby's here. I mean, can we talk about this the new world of what it is, what reproduction medicine is?
Yes.
It's to me, it's not crazy because it's not like, I'm not saying like you're mentally ill if you choose to have a baby this way.
Yeah.
But rich women
yes.
having babies way later in life.
Yeah.
Very, very vain women having surrogates because they have all their excuses, but like, let's be real.
They don't want it in their body.
They don't want it to ruin their body.
Yeah.
Okay. Truth of the matter is babies do. I mean, obviously babies don't ruin your body.
Let's say they wreak havoc.
The bodies are made to be resilient and babies absolutely do not ruin your bodies in the biological sense.
Yes.
But in the social media, vanity, our current culture sense, then
I mean, could we agree that like they leave a trace? Like
they leave a trace.
Very few women that have a baby and there's like oh my God.
They leave a trace.
They leave a trace.
I do not think it's ruining.
Yeah,
but I think that like culturally that is how it's viewed. So women don't want this baby to leave a trace on their body, and so they use a surrogate. And Beyonce did it, and they have their reasons. And I kind of call bullshit on their reasons.
I think I call bullshit on this too.
100% vanity, and then they get the extra added benefits of whatever they think their bullshit reasons are. But it's so fucking weird because it's like it's not even that I'm like passing judgment on it. I'm definitely observing that this is a shift, and this is like the future of reproductive medicine for rich
privilege.
people.
Yeah.
For rich people. And it's just, for me, it's such a big move into the future. Like it just happened. It just happened in the past couple years.
Yeah.
My uncle, Andy Cohen, he just, one day I pick up an episode of Watch What Happens Live and people are congratulating him.
Yeah.
He's just suddenly getting all these congratulations because a baby's on the way.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, back the truck up. What's going on?
Right.
And then there's a baby shower, the infamous baby shower. Everybody knows about the baby shower.
I don't know about the baby shower, but
well, if you care about Housewives, it's like pretty much like Housewives Mecca.
Watch What Happens Live is Housewives Mecca.
No, the baby shower was. The Beverly Hills Housewives decided to throw him a baby shower, and they reached out to every Housewives franchise and got like the
Atlanta Housewives.
Yeah, so they like got Nene to get all the Atlanta Housewives together, and they got like Melissa to get all the Jersey Housewives together. So they had this huge party in LA, and like all the housewives were there. And then the housewives were putting the party on their Instagram stories, and it was like a crazy party, like dancing on tables.
Wow.
And it was Andy Cohen's baby shower. So it was pretty famous. It was a kind of a big deal. This is old news now to anybody who listens, but it was a big deal.
Yeah.
Anyway, what I'm trying to say is you're just like watching this single late 40s man, and then all of a sudden he's having a baby,
and he's on the cover of People, and he's like, I will say that, obviously there are benefits of surrogacy for couples of same sex that want to have a baby, that want to, I would not deny that to anyone. I just feel like you're right. There is something about privileged white women who have the capacity to have babies or are past their prime of capacity to have babies being like, I don't want to have an X, Y, or Z. Like, I don't want to have swollen feet. I remember in Kim Kardashian's first pregnancy, she had swollen feet, and like they were like notoriously photographed because she was wearing strappy sandals all the time, and like that apparently made her horrified or something.
I truly believe that Kim Kardashian thinks that that's disgusting, that's gross, that's probably like one of the worst things in the
could happen
whole
to her.
world that can happen to her.
And so then that's why I select to have babies.
I'm judging her because that's so sad to me.
Yeah.
That is so sad.
I think that's what it comes back to, right? Like that there is like what you're saying, that there is this option now for privileged women, and they can do it, and their reasoning, they can say whatever they want. But I think at the heart of the matter,
yeah. And so this other thing that's like kind of interesting, taking surrogacy aside, women of advanced maternal age, now that women are kind of, have fully stepped into traditionally male roles and with career and everything. And now we can bypass marriage and family in our 20s and 30s. And because of reproductive medicine, now we can actually get pregnant in our 40s. And we don't even necessarily need to be married. And I mean, that's great is for the autonomy and the agency piece. I don't know if it's great for actually like raising a child at that age, but I guess if that's what you want to do, do it.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's your personal choice. But the thing that they get into is they inseminate multiple eggs. And so you have a baby, you have the egg, and now you get into this conundrum like, I have to pay to store my eggs frozen infinitely because they're actual fertilized eggs. Or terminate them. And I don't think there's a donation option. But so then they get into these like weird situations where it's like the storage fees are high.
Yeah, I can't imagine this is cheap. I'm in the wrong business.
Yeah, so they have to make the decision, and so they linger storing these eggs because they can't imagine terminating them. But they're in their mid 40s and they can't have 4 more babies, even though they have 4 more eggs in a freezer.
Yeah,
to me, it's just like weird, like science fiction. We have just jumped into the future. Like I thought the future was going to be like how they pictured it on George Jetson. Like I'm just going to be able to dial up what I want to eat, and a hand is going to give it to me. Like that's what I thought. I had no idea that it would be like, oh, my eggs are in a freezer and I have to keep paying the storage fee. Yeah. That's what it is.
Yeah. I mean, what a fresh perspective on thinking about the future, right? I'm totally with you on that stuff. And I mean, I just think it is like, you're right. Just, it happened like in a matter of 5 years, right? Where like, whoa, all of a sudden it's like, there are these other options and they do seem kind of science fiction-y. And I will say, I have one thing to weigh in on the baby showers, which I think it's so weird to see a baby shower for someone who doesn't have a bump. I don't know whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
it's an excuse to have a party.
It is an excuse to have a party. And you know what, really at the end of the day, like, whatever. Do you. I don't really care that much, but I mean, I just feel like, could somebody who's rich and has a surrogate just come out and say like, listen, I want to have a baby and I don't want it making a house in my body for 9 months.
Right.
Like, that's really what I would appreciate.
What I would appreciate is, I'm a little bit too vain. I don't want it to ruin my body.
Yeah.
Like just truth. I like truth.
Yeah, I agree.
I am a seeker of truth. I am a truth teller and a truth seeker. Just tell me the fucking truth. And you know what? I'll tell you the truth.
Yes.
I don't know if you care. Does anyone even care?
People
anymore?
care. People do care. It's okay.
Or do they just want the one-liners? I think people just want one-liners.
People do love your one-liners. This is true.
A soundbite. No, not even like me personally. I think people want a soundbite and a snippet and move on. They want content. They want just increasing flowing content.
Okay, there's a couple things.
I know. I'm just I'm just gonna sit back.
I agree with you. There is something to sound bites and content. I also think that the best content is the content that's relatable, and I do think the most relatable content is the content that's honest. Of like, perhaps like I'm vain and I don't want to have a baby make a house in my body for 9 months. Or like one of the things I wanted to mention before we move on is the discussion of advanced maternal age, because you are a doctor and you work in medicine and I talked about this, oh my gosh, a while ago, about like how the body responds to being pregnant at 18 versus how the body responds to being pregnant at 45. Now, I'm not saying that anyone should like run out. Like, I'm not saying the 18-year-olds should all go run out and get pregnant.
I think they should. Get it fucking over with.
If that's what you want. I mean, you know what I mean? Like if you want to have a life with babies in it, then maybe you should do that earlier, right? Like your experience was that having a pregnancy early, like on the younger side of that spectrum, your body bounced back pretty quick. I remember you were saying like your hormones weren't quite as like up and down, and that, I know that women that have advanced maternal age have a tougher time bouncing back from the stress of having a person make a home in your body for 9 months.
For sure. And like, first thing I want to say, I'm a pharmacist, so doctor of pharmacy, not a medical doctor, not an OBGYN. But I am trained, I know this, I know medicine.
You're a medical professional.
I know medicine. Yeah. And I do believe that. Totally true. I'm not saying that you can't have a baby at these advanced ages, but don't fucking bullshit me and tell me that it was easy.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't easy to get your body back or whatever, or even to get your mind back, right? To even get your hormones leveled out. Like that wasn't easy.
They are some crazy moms. They are. It's true. Because the other thing that babies do, like, and this is true, babies wreck your central nervous system. They wreck your nervous system. And I do think that that's another thing that younger mothers are more resilient against. But they they take a toll on your nervous system. That means when you act cuckoo, it's because of your fucking kid. Yes.
I believe it. I don't even have a kid and I believe it. You know why? Because my dog makes me cuckoo. My puppy makes me fucking crazy. And so I don't even know. But all to say that, like, I think the way this ties back into kind of how we were wrapping it up is just that, like, you know, do whatever you want, but be honest about it. And I think being honest creates the most relatable content. And I think, like, the most relatable content is that stuff that really resonates with people. And so it's like, yeah, just say, I don't want anyone making a house in my body. And also, like, that was really hard to come back from that. You know what I mean? A little bit of honesty would be refreshing. Yeah. Okay, so on to the next little story. Oh, speaking of babies, this dovetails quite nicely. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry in the UK, their baby is imminent.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah, and so of course to celebrate, they got their own Instagram this week.
Oh, good for them.
So
I would have totally thought that they had their own Instagram.
They didn't. Apparently the two princes have been working off one Instagram for however. Let's be serious. The two brothers' PR people have been working them off one Instagram forever. And now that the younger brother Harry is having a baby of his own, or having a family of his own, his wife's having the baby, the PR people are like, okay, it's time to like split the houses or whatever. And the Queen's gotten involved, and now like some people are setting up shop here and some people are setting up shop there. Whatever. The point being that now they can waste time like the rest of us.
Sucks to be poor.
Yeah.
One account.
Sucks to be poor. And also, I could see that little snippet being taken out of context. So, sorry.
Sucks to be poor. Sorry for ya.
And
see ya, wouldn't want to be ya.
Maybe they'll be posting pictures of their little, their baby or whatever.
Totally got sidetracked on Sucks to be poor.
You know what though? It's funny because we had 5 listens in the UK this week, and I'm just saying maybe Meghan Markle is listening to us. And if Meghan, if you are listening, I want you to be honest with us about how the come up is from having that baby.
What do you mean?
Like how it is to come back from it. Sorry, I used my language. Wrong words.
Yeah. Oh, I thought that I was like, ooh, are you suggesting that she's like a gold digger? And she's like, I got the royal baby.
Well.
Deuces. The come up is the realest, Heidi. She's gonna be like, excuse me, Heidi. I do have a bit of a British accent now because I've been living here for a while.
Yeah.
But I do want to let you know the come up is the realest. It's the realest come up. I've got the baby deuces, bitch.
Yeah. I just felt like I might need to know both. I might need to know about the come up, and I also, because I am kind of here for that storyline. I think there might be a bit of truth to that.
I am going to hold on to hope that those two are in love.
Oh my God, it would be so great.
Oh, I'm just going to hold on to hope. Because, Harry's such a stand-up guy.
It'd be so great if they were really in love. Yeah. It would be great.
It would be it's so funny that that's what we're saying. It'd be really great if they were in love.
So anyway, I hope they're listening, and I want Meghan to use the Instagram account to let us know how it really is to have a baby. Although I don't know if she's advanced maternal age, but I don't think she's spring chicken.
I don't really. I think she's young.
No, I think she's in her 30s.
Oh, I thought she would be in her 20s.
I might have to Google it. Could Joey or Mark Google that for us?
Sweet love.
Meghan Markle's age. Because I think the veins in her hands make me think that, because her hands are a little veiny. Although now she has extra blood. What is that? Extra oxygen. Huh?
37.
37?
You know what? I should have known that. I should have known that. You know why? Because one of my favorite podcasts, Juicy Scoop with Heather McDonald, she has a frequent co-host, Chris Frangiola, and we saw them both live. He used to serve. Oh, right. So he used to wait tables with Meghan Markle. They worked at the same restaurant because obviously we know she's a working actress. Right. So that's why I should have known. I should have known the cohort she's in.
Well, you got a lot of stuff in your brain. You're keeping a lot of things straight today. So, I mean,
I got the date. We're going to be at the Portland Design Week.
Thank God.
That's all I got.
I have to shift this gears a little bit to something that's a little more serious. I have a graphic for this. This came to my attention, crossed my attention this week on Instagram because a friend of mine posted it on their Instagram. The country of Brunei, which is ruled by the Sultan of Brunei, has returned today to stoning gay men. So the Sultan of Brunei happens to own these hotel chains, and so everyone is like trying to get behind this boycotting these hotels. So
okay, that's like 9 hotels. Do you know how rich this man is?
I know, but yeah, and they're like,
it's gonna need to be like 9,000 hotels to make a dent.
I'm just saying, if you are rich, because that's the other thing, it's like the only 2 in the U.S. are the Hotel Bel Air and the Beverly Hills Hotel. So if you are rich and you stay at hotels, also we have listeners in London, so also don't stay at the Dorchester, the 45 Park Lane, Coworth Park, And that's it. So don't stay any of those places if you're rich. And we'll just like keep going on. Everyone's on the boycott. This is on the Ellen show this week, and it's been in a couple other places. So I just wanted to put it out there as well.
Do you think that this is even going to touch? Okay, yeah.
I don't know.
This is cute.
Okay.
Because I have been a long time fan. Okay, I get my news, my political news,
Mm-hmm.
my political news from two sources.
What are they?
John Oliver, Bill Maher.
Okay.
One of Bill Maher's longtime rants is on Sharia law.
Okay.
So Sharia law is a thing in amongst many governments in many countries.
Correct.
And it includes things like stoning gay men, stoning adulterers,
Right.
usually only women, and these types of things, and that it's okay to stone them to death, and that's what this mandate is. And that is so far reaches beyond the Sultan of Brunei.
Yes, you're absolutely correct.
Into countries which he says that the U.S. has interest in. That we're not boycotting, that we're not doing anything
about. Yeah.
So that's
the tentacles are long and they're tangled
so
for
that's
sure.
me just proving that I listen to you, Bill Maher.
You do. Can we
listen.
tag him in this episode?
We'll
Just say,
tag
we're
you.
listening, Bill.
And you're like one of the two people I will get my politics from.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, here's the other thing. Bill, reach out to us. Let us know what else we should boycott because I am willing to do it. Sometimes it's hard to find the information of like what to, or whatever. But
I think his point is like he was just saying that it was George Clooney saying to boycott the Beverly Hills Hotel. But like I saw a list of 9 hotels, and I think his point is like that's just like a drop in the bucket.
Yes.
It's a token, merely a
Right.
trifle. And it's just that thing about it's just to make us feel better. And this is what I've been dealing with at work this week. I have a very mundane example about recycling plastic baggies at work.
Okay.
We have some nurses who have been really, really upset about the impact that the plastic baggie use is having on the environment.
Okay.
And that's true. I
Yeah.
mean, we use a lot of plastic baggies.
Sure.
Now, in the scope of medical waste, the plastic baggies are a token, merely a trifle.
Yeah.
But they're so bothered, and it bothers them so much on the daily that what they do is they come to my department for us to fix it. Like, oh, if you just take these baggies and reuse them, we're going to feel better and everyone's going to feel better and we're saving the planet and we can pat ourselves on the back.
Yeah.
But what they're asking us to do is like reuse baggies for patient medications and things like that. And it's a little touchy. It's like a little bit like I have infection control concerns. I have different concerns. And then on a larger scale, plastic baggies are actually recyclable. Like Metro will take them.
Yeah.
So it's like we're accepting and implementing this small stopgap solution that will get the nurses off our back. It'll make them feel a little bit better. They'll be able to pat themselves on the back and say that they made an impact. But we're not doing anything to make a larger impact.
Yeah.
To medical waste at large. If where I work as a health system were to recycle all their plastic baggies, all their clear plastic wrap, which we just don't have a system set up for it. We just need to find a way to get it to Metro.
Yeah.
That would actually make an impact.
Yeah.
But that's not what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is the same thing.
Well, let me ask you, is there any space, I guess this is interesting because in light of what we're going to talk about, the John Oliver interview with Monica Lewinsky later in the show, we're going to talk about that later in the show. I was wondering, like, hearing your response to that makes me think, like, is it possible that this is a launching pad or like a stepping stone to something different, right? Like if the baggy thing hadn't come up at work, would you have thought about the larger picture of medical waste, or is there another?
Well, yeah, we've been ranting about it for years.
And there's like not another step to take about the recycling of the plastic or a program to build I guess I'm just wondering, like, can sometimes these small kind of trifle or like token actions kind of springboard into other actions that might be more meaningful?
Well, yeah, but I think that what has to happen is people have to keep feeling bad about it,
Oh, that when they get to feel good, then they stop.
Yeah, because I think that what people are not looking for is maybe, I think what they're looking for is to say, oh, this makes me feel bad. If you do this, I'll feel like I did something, but even though I'm just turfing it to you.
Yeah.
And then I'll feel better.
Sure.
And then it's off on the wayside when really such a small impact is made. And so, because I got really super fucking irritated about this, I did find some information. I gathered information and I sent it to the people above me because I'm like, you guys are making bad decisions. No, which I had to clarify today.
I love that.
I don't think this particular coworker is listening, but I love her, and I will clarify just in case. You did not make a bad decision. You made a good decision. I support your decision. But the problem solving here is flawed.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
So there's an improvement in problem solving, and I think that this is the same thing because we're talking about Middle Eastern politics here, and like my health system getting a contract with Metro is a lot more reasonable to happen than a change in Middle Eastern politics because like a small set of liberal white Americans, rich Americans, because guess what? I'm not going to the Beverly Hills Hotel.
To the Beverly Hills Hotel
anytime soon.
Sure.
Are not going to these hotels. So it does feel very like shallow to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking, I kind of think, I guess what I was thinking is,
you were going to go to the Beverly Hills Hotel, and now you're not.
No, that's not what I was thinking. But I do think that there is room for kind of entry-level stuff like this to springboard into larger projects or into like other action. I know what I was going to say. I was going to make a dig at who's in charge of Middle Eastern politics, which is like, well, when Jared Kushner's on the case, there's definitely nothing exciting happening. God, that joke was going to be good, and then I forgot it, and now it's too late. Well, we're not going to be cutting that out of anything because we don't edit this show anymore. So anyway.
Well, just like I think awareness. I think that what could be, if this brings awareness to people who didn't know that this was already going on in the Middle East. I mean, did you,
or like people who forgot, or people who, you know,
I mean,
like
when you heard this about, because it was like this new kind of like something new passed where it now is like completely legal to stone people to death for a myriad of offenses.
Sure.
It's not just
this, right?
It's not just that. And this has been going on in the Middle East for a really long time, in our modern times.
Yeah.
Did you not know that?
Well, I mean, I suppose I probably did know that somewhere in my brain, right? It's not on my radar. It's not something that I think about every day. And so like to have a news item come up that is like a recent, within the last 48 or 72 hours, as far as like the new passage of it or whatever, but just kind of like brings it back up. You're right. Of course, like I know that countries that live under Sharia law, like countries, part of the reason that, even though we joked about Dubai, I really never want to travel to the UAE, right? Because their human rights abuses are atrocious, and like women's rights are human rights, and like any country that like can't get it together on women's rights, I really don't want it, It's like, so there are those things that are kind of like buried in the recesses that get stuck back there. And so I appreciate some,
and I do think that Bill Maher pointed that out, because it's like we can say this about the Sultan of Brunei, and like we can like come down on Saudi Arabia, but we're not touching UAE,
right?
Because from an
oil standpoint,
political standpoint, we're in bed with them,
of course.
And so like
Saudi Arabia as well.
There is a lot of like hypocrisy around it, and I just think it's like more education, less sound bites, more education,
more honest discussion about it.
And this is why everybody at my job is really ready for me to have a few days off.
Do you have a few days off?
I do.
Yeah, I do. I love it. I love it. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is we're shifting back into potentially more lighthearted conversation, if catastrophic, for one Jeffree Star. Are you familiar with Jeffree Star?
I have no idea who Jeffree Star is.
I also did not know who Jeffree Star is. Do you guys know who Jeffree Star is? Okay, Jeffree Star.
I know who Kenneth Star is, but more about him later.
Jeffree Star is a cosmetics maven who, I just bonked my nose on this big microphone. He's a cosmetics maven who apparently in 2006 was the most followed person on MySpace, and in today's time has 11 million followers on YouTube. So he is a personality and I think a musician, from what I could tell from his Wikipedia page. Anyway, he also happens to be on the Kylie Kardashian plan, has a bunch of makeup products that are a makeup line that is hugely successful.
I'm going to Google him.
Yeah, have a look. I should have sent a picture. I can't believe I didn't.
Jeffree or Jeremy?
Jeffree, Jeffrey. Star. And so Jeffree Star has...
Jeffrey Dahmer comes up first. Sorry, Jeffree Star.
So Jeffree Star has a cosmetics company and tweeted out this week that he never thought that he would be up in the early hours of the morning with the FBI looking for $2.5 million worth of cosmetics that had been stolen right out from under his nose and in his warehouse in California.
I have a confession. I didn't know this was Jeffree Star. I took an online makeup tutorial from Jeffree Star.
How was it?
It was, well, I'm just not good at makeup, so mine didn't come out very well.
Let me ask, what was it? Was it for brows, lashes, lip, contour? Do you recall?
I don't
Do you recall?
remember.
This is turning into a Kenneth Starr investigation.
I don't remember. He's very memorable, his
Yes,
face.
yeah.
And so like, because like the choices that came up when I Googled, I chose him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was blush. No, it was when I bought my first blush because we were podcasting and I had no idea how to put blush on. And remember I asked you how to put blush on? I also Googled, and this is who I watched because he had the same blush as me, the MAC Melba.
Yes.
And I Googled MAC Melba, how to apply MAC Melba blush.
Okay, do you remember what he suggested?
Just to like brush down from the cheekbone.
I always brush up.
Yeah, I could be remembering.
I could be doing it wrong.
Yeah, so
I could
this
definitely
is
be doing it wrong.
Jeffree Star is who I learned to put on blush from. I hope that's
amazing.
Don't judge me, Jeffree Star.
I love that.
I'm an amateur.
Well, I'm just saying, I'm hoping to get on the Jeffree Star YouTube bandwagon because he has 11 million followers,
I
and
guess
we have
that's why he came up in my Google search.
17. So
17 million.
If some of Jeffree Star's followers could listen to this little bit of him on the podcast and then go follow our podcast, that would be great. But anyway, he said, I wanted to report what was missing. The Northern Highlighter palettes were missing. The Platinum Ice Highlighter palettes were missing. And the Magic Star Concealer, which has not been released yet, were missing. Over 5,000 of each palettes, worth $2.5 million. And
Those are expensive.
Yeah. And Jeffree says this must have been an inside job. You can see that people came in through the ceiling, Mission Impossible style.
Oh, wow.
I know. I mean, it's kind of fascinating. I wish I had. I mean, I'm not just going to sit here and reread all the accounts of it. The whole account. But it was like kind of a like.
Some broke drag queens out there. You got to get your.
Well, and if you think about it,
you got to get your Kenneth Star palette. Sorry, Jeffree.
If you end up with 5,000 palettes of Northern Highlighter and you sell them for $3 each, then
Yeah.
you got $15,000.
I mean, are people buying highlighter on the streets?
I don't know. That was actually, I think that's why I was like, what is funny about this article? Because, like, can you imagine the black market? Yeah.
Highlighter?
So this article talks about how he's like, this is an inside job and all of this stuff's going to get sold on the black market. Like, fucking where? I don't know, but.
Get that black market glow, girl.
Yeah, hell yeah. If you're out there, start shilling it.
Yeah, that's funny.
Give me that money. And in the last kind of weird and wild story that we have this week in Portland. Fucking Portland. What the shit, Portland? What the shit? Okay. In Portland this week, a baggage handler was arrested at Portland Airport. A Portland Airport baggage handler was arrested this week after he stole 6 guns out of checked luggage over the past, 9 months or something. So I just feel like... That's it. That's exactly it. Like, oh, God. I guess this probably happens in other places. And maybe it's not like a uniquely Portland story, but it just makes me think like, oh God, people travel with, there's so many.
It's like, why?
Yeah.
Why are you putting your gun in your suitcase?
Yeah. It would make me, once I had to be around a lot of guns and I was just like, very like, at my old job.
Grandpa, come visit us.
Gotta put my gun in the suitcase. Like,
Yeah.
just leave it at home. I don't know. It seems.
Do you think it's just like sports people?
Maybe, but like I have a girlfriend that is not a professional, but that is like an Olympian trap shooter, which is shotgun, and they like have special cases that they put those guns in. And I don't know if she has a concealed carry or not, but I mean, I don't know. She knows a lot about gun safety. I just feel like, I don't know. It just seems weird that you would put it, I don't know. Just seems weird. Whatever. It's a weird story.
I mean, I've packed a few suitcases in my time. Never have I thought, geez, I wish I had a gun and I would take it with me.
Yeah. Now, I don't know.
Cabo.
I don't know how.
I'm going to Cabo, got to bring my gun.
Yeah. I don't know how Northern Highlighter palettes will do on the black market, but I do know how 6 stolen guns will do on the black market. So that's just wrapping that up nicely
Yeah, that
for
was
you.
good.
Putting a
I
bow
like
on
that.
one.
Yeah.
All right. We are moving into our major topic for the evening. Major topic. This week, Sandy and I both watched John Oliver's interview with Monica Lewinsky on Last Week Tonight. Is that the name of that show?
I think so.
Last Week Tonight. Yeah.
My husband watched it a while ago. He told me when I was talking about it to him in the bath today. So this is not a new interview,
I
is
thought
it?
it was, okay, so I only watch it on YouTube. I only watch the videos that are posted by them because I don't have HBO. So I don't ever know exactly when somebody posted it or when it really came out. But I thought it was recent, but maybe it's not.
Yeah, well, it must be somewhat recent.
Yeah. So one of the things I think is really interesting that's happening in this time period right now, I think it has something to do with gender politics. I think it has something to do with women's equality. I think it has something to do with social media. I don't know what it has to do with, but there's been a lot of re-examining of like the way that we treated women in the 90s. So like with the confirmation hearing of Brett Kavanaugh and Christine Hillebrandt's testimony, a lot of people went back and looked at the Anita Hill case again, and there was John Oliver interviewed Anita Hill actually, and that was a fantastic interview. And I think a lot of people are pretty horrified about the way that they engaged in behavior around women who came forward with their truth in the 90s or treated women or shamed women in the 90s. And it's weird because in the 90s, I was a teenager in the 90s. You were a teenager in the 90s, and I felt like a lot of power in the 90s. I felt like it was like, I kind of felt like it was like riot girl power. Like,
I mean, I had the power to tweeze off all my eyebrows. All of them.
Me too. And my one never, it's my right one actually that never recovered. Because I would always start with the right and then like I would have done so much damage to it that the left one I'd be like, oh fuck, I'd be too drunk by the time I got to the left one. Just go out with one fucked up like 3 eyebrows on the right side and like none and all of them on the left. So yeah, I mean, to me, it's weird because although there was all this gender politics and political stuff happening, I was a little too young to be fully giving it my full attention, although I was certainly aware of it. And it felt like a very powerful time to be a young woman or to be a woman because it felt like there was all kinds of just like energy coming towards gender politics. So people have revisited, like I said, Anita Hill has been revisited. And then a couple weeks ago, Amazon released a kind of revisit of the Lorena Bobbitt case. And then this kind of, this interview with John Oliver had me revisiting the Monica Lewinsky experience. I guess I don't really want to call it a scandal because she made a great point that like her name is in over 199 rap songs, that because of the Kenneth Starr report, even when they referred to something about what happened and it had nothing to do directly with her, it was labeled the Monica Lewinsky scandal. So her name was attached to it, even when it wasn't a piece of the experience or of the, what am I trying to say?
I don't know.
Like, I don't want to call it a scandal event, even though it was a piece of the event.
It was a scandal, but like, they didn't call Watergate the Richard Nixon scandal.
Right. Yes, exactly.
They called it Watergate.
Yeah. So that it was named after her was like just.
I mean, Varsity Blues, Project Varsity Blues.
Yes, not the Olivia Jade or Lori Loughlin scandal.
No.
Interesting.
Although I did like how John Oliver pointed out the OJ in her door at USC. That was cute. That
was pretty funny. Yeah, if you haven't seen this interview, you do need to Google it on YouTube. It's just John Oliver, funny. Monica Lewinsky interview. And the whole clip is 25 minutes or something. And I think he does talk about Olivia Jade, and her initials are OJ, and they're in her room at ASU, and OJ Simpson went
USC.
to USC, sorry.
Yeah.
Not ASU, USC.
Same difference.
Whatever.
No, sorry, no offense.
They're like all the same. So anyway, it was really cool to watch this interview. Tell me, why don't you just start off by telling me what you thought about it?
The interview?
Yeah.
I guess my initial thoughts listening to it were like, wow, Monica Lewinsky's gorgeous.
1,000% agree.
She's really well spoken.
Yes.
And I really, I think I had watched her TED Talk. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit old now, but it's when she started coming out and speaking about this. She did a TED Talk or something like a TED Talk.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting. But more so today, I got this impression, less about the content of what she's saying, because it's like, it feels so obvious now. Like, oh my God, yeah, of course. Like, that must have been horrible. Yeah. And that's crazy. But really, my reflections watching it today were, I was just really reflecting on what I, as my teenage self, thought about this, mm-hmm. and what I thought about her.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, whoa.
I agree with you. Because, okay, so to properly set up the whole thing, the interview that John Oliver is talking to Monica, the point of the interview and the point of the segment that John Oliver did is to talk about public shaming and how easy it is to kind of get on the bandwagon and publicly shame someone, which is why he brought up the Olivia Jade, Lori Loughlin scandal, and why, he says, like, when you are engaging in public shaming, like, you might consider, like, how public is the persona of the person you are, like, is this a person who's a public figure and thus, like, acknowledges, like, my actions are in the public, people are going to weigh in on them. How old is the person? Like, how extreme is the shaming? Like, what are you telling them? Like, he just offered some considerations of, like, that there might be a way to moderately weigh in on something, and, like, there might be some things you want to consider before you throw your hat in the ring on what you're going to say, which I appreciated, that he was trying to find some middle ground, like, not to say, listen, we should never do this at all, or we should only do this all the time, so I liked that. But I agree, as soon as they, like, cut to Monica Lewinsky, I had the exact same reaction of, like, whoa, like, what a polished and, like, strong woman. And like, she seemed very relatable. And also like, I was just completely amazed when I realized kind of the gravity of what it must have been, what her experience must have been like, that she's like a whole and sane and articulate human being, you know?
I mean, I think she's probably whole-ish and sane-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest,
Sure.
and that's not like a dig at her. It's just that she did it, you know, kind of show her humanity. She
Yes.
was honest and
Yeah.
she was authentic and she
Yeah.
was herself.
Yeah.
And she kind of showed her belly a little bit with regard to her scars from it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm thinking like as a 22-year-old looking back, because they showed clips of her as a
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
22-year-old, and she was just as beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
and she had a position as an intern in the White House, so she probably was
Very
just
smart.
as smart, although obviously immature, right?
Right, or made
And
a
then
bad decision, used bad judgment.
one that we all have made,
Yeah.
except we weren't with the president.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm thinking about my 22-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And it's just shocking because I mean, there was no social media, so I certainly didn't like pipe in. I didn't have a podcast, so I didn't talk about
Right.
it. I was honestly too young and innocent to even talk about oral sex with any of
Yep,
my friends. So I
completely.
didn't have a conversation about it even with my friends. I just had my own experience, hearing what I'm hearing and making the judgments I made. That's gross.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's gross. I do remember I felt shitty for her because I truly believe she was confiding in a friend and her friend betrayed her, and I felt bad for her.
I didn't
for
even
that.
remember that piece of it.
Yeah, I do remember feeling like really bad for her for that. And so for me today to be thinking about this was before the Kim Kardashian sex tape can
Yeah.
get you famous. This
Right.
was before making your own storyline for social media.
Right.
Where now we'd be skeptical, right? When shit like this gets leaked, you're like, this got leaked for a reason.
Who's getting benefit out of this?
But
Yeah,
when
yeah,
this
yeah.
happened to Monica, I remember like that Linda Tripp.
Yeah.
she's a hoe.
Yeah.
Like that was mean.
Yeah.
Like Linda Tripp, like that was mean. That
Yeah.
was so mean. And I do remember that was the one sympathy I had for her. But I do remember judging her appearance
Me
and
too.
thinking like, oh wow, the president, you know, like hooked up with that.
Yeah.
And now I'm looking back at her and I'm like, she's gorgeous,
Yeah.
even at 22.
She's beautiful. Her little cherub face and her little beret. And
She's gorgeous.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I felt a weird like shame around it watching the interview and knowing that like I was at the time that it broke. Of course, like I'm a teenager in the 90s. I feel real powerful. I feel whatever. But I wasn't old enough or mature enough to have any real conversation around like the power exchange that was happening or like the sexuality that was involved in it or like why that was interlaced with power or like any of like the true opportunities for discussion and learning. And like so much of my judgment around it was just based on like this kind of surface level, like what she looks like. You know what I mean? I felt really bad. Yesterday when I watched it, I felt really bad and really embarrassed about how I had kind of, you know, whatever, joked about it or, you know, as a teenager
Yeah.
myself, right? One of the things I did love, you mentioned social media, and one of the things I did love is John Oliver asked her, like, do you think it would have been worse if social media had existed? And he was like, after he asked that question, he laughed because he's like, I don't know how it could have been any worse.
Right.
You know, and she was like, her response was interesting to me because she said actually she thought social media might have been helpful. Because at least then she probably would have received some messages from some people saying like, this is fucked up.
Oh yeah, Cardi B would have been on that and be
Right.
like, "Oh girl, hoes don't get cold. It's okay."
Yeah.
It would have been good. It would have been good.
So there is that piece of it. And I just really,
And she would have become an influencer, and she would
Yeah.
have been able to sell flat tummy tea,
Right.
and she would have been able to do the Diffie eyewear,
Right.
and she would have been paid because the other thing was she couldn't get a job after this.
I know, yeah. She
had the scarlet letter.
Yeah, career prospects were
Yeah.
ruined. And I loved when John Oliver was like, you know, did anyone ever suggest you change your name? And she's like, well, no one ever suggested Bill Clinton change his name.
Right.
No one ever suggested Hillary change her name.
Well, I mean, and that's the other part that just kind of showed what a smart and really well-adjusted person she is, and it really spoke to her family because she said how she relied on
Yeah.
her family,
Yeah.
and for her to be this well-adjusted, what she said was, well, I could, but then I would show up to the interview and they would see me and know who I am, and then
Yeah.
I'm starting this foundation of employment on a lie.
Yes.
And that's some grown-ass woman shit right
Yeah, I
there.
agree.
And that
Agree.
was her thought process in the midst of this.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, very very mature.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Also, she's on Twitter and she's hilarious. So we need to follow her on Twitter.
Oh, I was going to text you that, actually.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. And then the other thing that I liked that she said, John Oliver was asking her, I really did love the whole interview, but just two pieces that spoke out to me. The other thing is he asked her, what advice she would give to anyone going through this or going through any kind of bullying or whatever. I'm sure this is in her TED Talks. I'm sure it's in the speaking engagements that she does. But she was saying, one of the things that she said was that it won't always feel this way. And I actually love that. I feel like in recovery, I use that in my own life a lot, where it's like, sometimes we have those super intense feelings and we're having super intense experiences and we just think like it's always going to feel like this. And it's just a good reminder that, it's not necessarily always going to feel this way. And she really is testament to, it might take 20 years. I don't know how long it really took her to come out the other, to come out the other side of it. Right. But like however long it takes, like it might not, it probably won't always feel like this, and I thought that was hopeful. So yeah.
It gets better.
It gets better. That's the message. Do you have anything else that you want to weigh in on with Monica?
I don't think so.
I love it. Well, we're wrapping up. It is about that time.
All right.
Can you believe it?
I can.
I was going to say, I can't. It went so fast. Okay. Sandy can't believe it. I love you.
Well, because time flies every time we do this.
It goes so fast.
The problem with me is it's like to blunt my disappointment, I just stop feeling. Once we get to that 55-minute mark, I just stop feeling.
I love it. Well, it was great. It was a great show. I love you. And we are sending lots of love, light, and gold from Portland. Don't you forget to
stay vigilant
and follow us on YouTube.
What miracles of science and engineering it took to recover this gold